What if there were a scale pattern that would instantly give you a different sound? A sound with depth and emotion. A sound your favorite players use. I'm talking players past and present, from Jimmy Page and B.B. King to John Mayer and Marcus King. Well, there really is one, and it's super easy to play. Let's dig in. Before I show you what the pattern is, I'll play a few examples that you probably already know and recognize, just so that your ears are primed when we cover the pattern. Here are just a few. See what I mean? You'll start hearing this all over the place. So let's move ahead with the lesson. We'll cover the pattern itself, but it's not enough to know just the pattern. So we'll also cover why it works so well, show you some simple licks to get your fingers used to the pattern, and then we'll round it all up with an example solo in a real musical context. Okay, let's get to the pattern. We'll show it in A, but it's totally movable, so it works in any key. Since we're doing this one in A, we're going to start out by finding an A note. And we're going to find it on the B string. That's the critical thing. So we go to the B string, we'll find an A right here on the 10th fret. Once we got that, let's take a look at the pattern. Here's the basic pattern. And sometimes it also includes a chromatic note here too. We heard that in the Jimmy Page and Joe Walsh examples. Why does it work so well? Let's cover that very briefly before we get to the lick examples, and most importantly, the playing example. That's where the meat really is. Here's what it looks and sounds like. It's a 6-note scale. It's got an A, a B, a C, a D, an E, and an F sharp. Now, scales work really well over progressions if they have lots of notes that resolve over the chords that are there. So in a blues in A, we've got 3 chords. We've got an A, a D, and an E. This scale has 2 notes it can resolve to in the A, all of the notes it can resolve to in a D, and in an E, it has 2 of the 3 notes. So this is a scale that has a lot of resolving points. All right, so now we know why it works. What's next? Well, for me, what always helps is if I learn how to say a few things with the scale pattern that I'm learning. So we're talking licks here, but let's keep it really simple. The idea here is just to give a few examples of the sounds that you can get out of this scale. Here are just a few ideas to get you started. This is lick number 1. Now slowly. Here's lick number 2. Now slowly. Here's lick number 3. And now slowly. All right, we've got the pattern down, we've got some typical licks under our fingers. Now it's time to put it to some music. In the solo, I'm going to add some typical phrasing, some bends. So here we go. There's a breakdown afterward. Fun little blues shuffle, and I wanted the solo to exhibit not only some of the sounds, but some of the bends that are typical in this pattern, which by the way is called the BB box. So let's get into it. Here's the first line over an A chord. This is such a typical bend, and it's interesting. From this note, we can bend either a half step, a whole step, or 1 step and a half, and it all sounds good. Here we're bending a step, and then we also bend a step and a half. All right, the second line is over a D7 chord. Now notice we're bending this time from this note. So both of these notes have some excellent bends. And then we used our chromatic run. And then over the E, we played. So this exhibits yet another bend that you can do. Nice little interval jump there at the end. But if you really want to take it to the next level and add another super cool sound to your play, one that Jeff Beck and many others used, click here. Because I show you how just changing one note from something that you probably already know will add a new dimension to your play. So click here. I'll see you in the next video, and I'll see you on down the road.